father was born in 1937 and he was deceased now in 2023. He was an area representative for the Toledo North. That was before constituencies were turned into Toledo East and Toledo West, respectively, presently. So he was an area rep for a term, and he also did 4 consecutive terms as mayor of Punta Gorda Town. And by right, he is a air traffic controller certified in Mexico City, and he had helped the country of Belize during the Hurricane Hattie episode in the 1960s when the hurricane struck, and international aid was coming from abroad. He was working over there at the time. They put him onto the radio station, the Radio Amatike radio station, to pass information across to let us know that aid was coming to Belize at that said time, in a time of disaster. In the 1970s, he also did a lot of work in the rice industry for the entire Toledo district by providing drying sheds and also rice thrashing machines that were worked manually, not electrified, in several different communities. While that undertaking was on the way, he was aided in that by contractor Mr. Hula Mushchang Sr., who is now deceased. He was a big advocate of sports. He always took football teams across to neighboring countries to have games, and then of course he would aid getting excursions for return match, because Belize always love a return match, right? So he was a big advocate for sports, along with other businessmen in the community like Carlos Godoy, Mr. Alejandro Vernon himself, the Pennells and the Fosters, and numerous other families here that aid out with sports. He was also very critical. Recent years he worked as the chairman for the NHI here in the Punta Gorda Town Hospital, and he also did some work in rural electrification and coordination in Toledo West along with Miguel Choco in the early 2000s as well. He was also one of the pioneers in the Toledo district at the time. He did the gas station, the first gas service station that we have in Punta Gorda at the time, which was underneath the Texaco brand name. We didn't really have a highway. So what he did, he included a marina or a wharf, a pier that could service as well for fishermen and mariners who, are out here in the Port Honduras area. And he was very instrumental in part of the program to get the highway built, along with the Right Honorable George Price back in those days as well. So he was somebody that you could approach. He was always willing to help in whatever capacity he could, and he was on a lot of different organization boards and committees, and many of them he served as chairman. At times he was just basically members, but once it came to Toledo, Alejandro Vernon put his time and capacity and effort first. He was also a member of the Justice of the Peace. He was a senior one. He worked in the committee for several years until his untimely passing recently. Right? So he was also a member of the Punta Gorda Lions Club, which was a philanthropist club, sort of like the Rotaract that we know of today. And he was a member for several years as well. While he was a parliamentarian, Alejandro Vernon also made his international debut and stuff by traveling with the Belize government to different parts of Europe, parts in South America and parts of the Caribbean. He was well traveled, and he had a wife, Miss Iris Elia Vernon, nee Paulino, and 6 sons, and many nieces, nephews. He have been predeceased by his father, Samuel Benjamin Vernon, who was also a senator, a member of parliament in Belize, and a very influential and committed member to the district of Toledo. One of the things that he was very known for being a mayor for 4 consecutive terms, one of his things was he always had public meetings, and in the public meetings he made sure that the panel consisted of the various administrative and executive members of the different government branches in the district. So you'll have the fire chief, you'll have the police inspector, you'll have all these people, the administrator, the hospital, put together and face the public. So when they make decisions, they could go to Belmopan and they know what they're going to lobby for on behalf of Toledo. He wasn't someone that was looking for it for himself, not in a dictatorship style or fashion. He had a smooth managerial role that he always played in his community. So public meetings, we don't do them anymore, but I think it's something that should be brought back, because with that you get the voice of the people, and then you can take whatever points you need to lobby for in central government. And so we would not see all of this sort of weird infighting and things that we see in the House today, instead of lobbying for the best interests of the Belizean people, of whom, like I mentioned before, Alejandro Vernon always had in his heart. He was also a member of a third party by the name of Toledo Progressive Party, which was led by the then President Anthony Martinez, and my dad was the General Secretary for that party, and they went all the way to the United Nations and petitioned at the United Nations on behalf of Toledo. And it was a futuristic move on his part, because today now we are actually going to the ICJ to get things done. So again, unsung hero, very futuristic person. Whenever you enter this town, coming in from the Dollar Coin Monument, if you go on the right, you'll be seeing the beautiful Caribbean Sea. But if you decide to take the right, you take the right and get on the paved street, then you'll be riding on Alejandro Vernon Street. So that is another token of him in the town. And when you go to the present day Belize Bank, opposite, we have the Civic Center, Community Civic Center, and he built that Community Civic Center in 1969. So today it's a market space, and it's also opposite of the present day Belize Bank. It had also served once as the Punta Gorda Town Hall, which presently is located in the Bliss Multipurpose Building near the airstrip. He also donated family property to the youth department, presently adjacent of the multipurpose complex, where they have a structure for the municipality that he donated on behalf, so that the youths could have some center where to go. And he also did the building where the electricity board is at the moment. That used to be a power plant back in the days when we first got electricity. He donated that as well from his family property towards the town. So Mr. Vernon did well. He loved the Belize. He traveled and decided that this was his place, and he came. So, and he did, and he saw what needed to be done, and now he's resting in peace. I'd like to thank all friends and family supporters throughout the years for their time and support as well on behalf of the family. Thank you.